All right, we're here. We are here. We live. Good morning. Minor technical difficulties. Y'all know us. Y'all love us. If we don't have technical difficulties, you're not watching the right team. So
That's
good morning. What we got? So what we're gonna start doing, guys. We're waiting on Elena. That's our technical difficulty. But what we're gonna start doing on Wednesdays is having specific topics. We're looking to get guest hosts and things like that, and we'll give you guys heads up. We're working on our flyers and our promos and everything. The link below for everybody. Don't text the link below yet. We're not completely finished our automation, but by next Wednesday, by next Zoom, by the next live we have, the link will be live. You guys can text mentorship to the number below and get signed up. Figure out what you want to do with your business and all the things that we have to help you guys out with. I'm KP, as you may or may not know. I am one of the 3 CEOs of the Elevation Academy. This is 1/3 of our immaculate team that we have created. Shanice Christie, and then our third is Elena Diaz, who is having the technical difficulties. So good morning. Shanice is actually taking over today, y'all. So that's great. If y'all been watching us, if y'all know about the team, y'all know KP I usually run my blabbermouth all the time, but Shanice gonna take the show today, y'all. I'm just here. I'm a help, but I'm just here.
Hey, you just be. I don't get no fair warning. So we just on the spot impromptu.
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday. All right, bet. All right, so what we got today? One of the questions that KP has collected is, all right, so basically people were sending in questions or whatever for information that they want to know. And one of the questions is, can I have student loans even though, can I have student loans removed even though they are in good standing? Now, I know in the credit repair industry, everybody wants to get, student loans removed and things like that. If you are having student loans removed, there's 2 parts to this. You lose credit age by removing the student loans because typically this is not a across the board thing, but most of us have student loans from when we were fresh out of high school, right, early 20s. So as we are, entering our 30s and whatnot, we have 10 years or roughly 10 years of credit age. So removing 10 years is essentially, cutting your credit score in half. So it's something that I personally would steer away from. And then 2, some people go towards, and this is kind of a little bit off topic, but some people want to remove the student loans because they want to change their debt to income ratio. With the loan forgiveness that we have coming up, leave them there. They'll just be paid, student loans. Your debt to income is going to change, and even if it only changes by 10 or 20,000, it's still a modification, right? And then you want to just make sure you're consistently making the payments to avoid default and stuff like that. So I personally steer away from removing them at all, even if it's negative history. After 7 years, the late payments fall off anyway. So kind of, if you can get the student loan payments removed, remove them, but keep the account, save it as much as you possibly can. But anyway, just to cycle back, keep it there. It's saving your, credit score. There's no purpose in bleeding it, and your score is suffering as a result of it. Good standing, it can still have a negative history. So that's my
I'm gonna,
take on it.
I'm gonna ask. I'll ask sub questions for the people that have either they've asked me or just me having sub questions.
Okay.
Specifically for student loans. And this was one of my personal clients. I already gave them the answer, but they were saying, if I remove the student loan from my credit profile, will it remove the DTI when I go to buy a house?
I guess that depends on, because you can have something. It depends on if it's in CAVERS or not. All right. So CAVERS is basically like the student loan system or whatever. You can remove them. Let's take good standing out of the picture, right? So let's just say you have student loans or whatever. You want to buy a house and you want to get them removed from your credit report, but they're, defaulted or whatever. You have the only options that you have with defaulted student loans is rehabilitation and loan consolidation. It's in CAVERS, right? So once the accounts are in CAVERS, it's kind of like a federal system that keeps track of defaulted student loans or whatever. If you're going for a loan, chances are you're not going for, a conventional loan or a jumbo loan or something like that. You're going to use some type of government program. They're looking at CAVERS. They're not going to, you know what I mean? So like you can remove it from your credit report, but they still have secondary systems that they're going to check.
All right, cool. Here she is. Here she is, everybody.
Hello, Elena.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Okay, so that was good. Like I said, I had pretty much gave them the answer, and they ended up, it was a utilization thing, which is what they were looking for. They just thought removing the student loans would help with the DTI, and I was explaining like, yo, your DTI is high because all your credit cards are maxed out. It's not, it's not necessarily the student loans. The student loans are actually helping your score, like you stated earlier. Right. Their student loans were like 13 years old. I'm like, that's significantly helping your score because your oldest credit card is only 3 years old. You remove them.
I don't know why the default is to remove student loans. Like student loans for a lot of Americans, it literally gives us the credit age that we're looking for, because most of us don't have 10 and 12, or even, I'm going to say 5-year credit cards. Most of my clients have been under 5 years. You know what I mean? Right. So like, they're like, oh, I have these student loans or whatever. I want to buy a house. And yeah, some of them have like super high, student loan debt, but removing them, unless there's like some type of strategy that you have created or that you have in mind, I wouldn't remove them. Personally.
I don't, based on your answer and the answer that I was going to give is there is no benefit at all to remove it, because the question was the question specifically says if they're even though they're in good standing. So for me, there's absolutely no benefit to removing a good standing anything. Student loan, credit cards, installment loans. If it's in good standings, it's helping you. You have there is literally no benefit of removing something that is helping your credit score. So I would just say leave it alone. So, I know you guys go ahead.
Let me add this in. So a lot of people, since COVID, I reached out to my loan provider or whatever, and they were like, a lot of people have enrolled in the programs like the IDR, which is the income driven repayment plan. And they're kind of going by that. You can get hardships if you receive government assistance. You can defer your student loan payments for a year. And even if it's deferred, you can make very small payments. Like, you don't have to say it, but you have to have it on auto pay to where you're making like $5 a month. And that'll change your DTI. When I went through the home buying process, like this was years ago, I had like a few, I think like 2 or 3 student loans at the time. But they were like, do a deferment, find out what type of deferment you qualify for. and then set it up on auto pay to where it's like small payments coming out to where we can see it. And instead of them looking at the entire loan balance, they'll look at the payments that are being made. And so that for me changed my debt to income, so to speak, right? So there are options around it. People just aren't willing to do the work,
Right.
to get what they want. So save the student loans, see what type of deferments you qualify for, and then, literally go from there.
We're getting comments. They're not popping up in the chat, and I hate the multi-stream feature. I got some on my page, and I see one in the group, but it's not popping up here in the chat. So, guys, if we're missing your comments, we apologize. It happens every week. It's almost like Restream decides in advance which chat is going to show us. I usually have my phone up to try to look through the different chats so we can try to make sure we're answering you guys and responding and everything like that. But it's the software. We're streaming to 20 plus platforms, or not platforms, but 20 plus, different locations. So I don't think it's going to ever be able to always show us your comments. So if we don't get to you, I promise you, we did not ignore you on purpose. It's just, we didn't see it. Okay. If you guys are commenting, again, apologize. I see Michelle wrote on my page, make sure that it's correct date and keep it moving. Yeah, about the student loans. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much covers, the student loan removal. It serves no purpose. Like to touch on what Michelle said, if everything is correct, why touch it? And that's one thing we teach you guys. That's one thing we teach our personal clients. That's one thing we teach our mentees is everything doesn't have to be deleted. If it's helping your credit profile, leave it. Explain to the client, explain to the lead, explain to the person why it's helping them and why they don't need to delete it. A lot of times people are going to just hear that YouTubeologist or hear that TikToker or hear that guru say, let's delete it, and think that they need to delete it, when in reality, you don't need to delete everything, especially things that are in good standings, like I stated. That pretty much covers that.
I think the problem is this is from my professional experience. The problem is when people go to get credit repair, they don't have any idea of what a healthy profile looks like, and neither does the business owner. More often than not, they don't know how to rebuild a profile. They don't know what's supposed to be there, what should be there, and everybody goes for the deletions. If I can save the accounts and build the client's profile better, that's exactly what my intentions are. My outcome and my goal is to increase and make your profile healthier, because there's nothing like having an 800, a 750. I'm going to say 750, right? Getting all the way up there, and then you can't get anything because you don't have any credit age, you don't have any credit mix. The score means nothing if you don't have a healthy profile, and that's a mix of everything. You don't have to be, obviously the less inquiries, the better, but you want to show all of this stuff. I don't understand why the go-to is always remove it, just remove all of it. You damaging yourself without even knowing it. And if you get a young credit repair owner, it's going to be the same thing. They don't really know, even if it's closed, if it's in good standing, keep that account. People are like, oh, I have to get the deletions because that's what they hired me for. No, they hired you to help them, educate them, and help them.
And that's huge, understanding that, because I was just asked yesterday in one of my consultations, what is my 100% deletion rate, like your graduation? And I don't keep track of that. The reason why I don't keep track of that is because my goal as a credit repair specialist isn't to delete everything off your credit profile. It's to get you to whatever your goal is. When we do our consultations, we want to know, what is your goal? Most people want to buy a house. That's like the top percentage of the people that want their credit repair. Some people want higher limit credit cards. Some people want better cars. Some people want to refinance. Whatever your goal is, my job is to get you there. To get a house, you don't have to have 0 derogatory marks. Obviously having 0 is going to help your credit profile, but it's not a necessity. There are programs and lenders that will approve you at a 620 with one derogatory. They will approve you with a few derogatories. I've gotten clients approved with the low 600s with still 2 or 3 derogatories, but everything else had matched. Their age was 15 plus years. Their utilization was under 10%. Their payment history, which is odd, their payment history was above 95%, even with the derogatory. So, the reporting is all out of whack when it comes to inaccuracies. But their other data points were strong enough to get them into the home at a mortgage rate that they were comfortable with. So once we do that, I give my clients the option. Hey, listen, you hit your goal. Yes, you have 2 or 3 items that are still lingering, but you hit your goal. Would you like to continue or cancel services? Because at the end of the day, like Shanice said, our goal isn't to delete everything. It's to goal set, and throughout that journey, we teach. You now know the better practices of getting your utilization down. You now know what to look for on your credit profile so you can spot inaccuracies. You now understand the importance of minimalizing the amount of inquiries you have. You understand the importance of payment history, all of the things, everything that you guys see us talk about all the time. You get more in-depth help with that when you join the program and you fully understand the importance, because every part of your credit is important. Some are easier to achieve and some are easier to fix than others. Some rely solely on you and we don't have any say so, like utilization. There's nothing I can do as a credit repair specialist to help your utilization. You have to go get at it as an authorized user. You have to pay more down on your credit cards. You have to stop spending. I cannot fix that. I can help you with the age. I can help you with the amount of derogatories you have, the amount of inquiries you have, your payment history, but the utilization is solely on you. So my job is to teach you how to fix that. And it's a two-way street. So it's a lot. Like you said, Shanice, we're teachers. Our job is to teach you and to instruct you. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to actually do those things, because if you don't, inevitably you're wasting your money, and then it becomes, oh, this guy didn't fix my credit, or this company didn't do XYZ. And that's not always the reality. The reality of it is you didn't take the proper steps to what we told you to do, resulting in what we told you was going to happen. Because I tell guys before you sign that contract, this is what you have to do. If you're not capable of doing these things, please don't enroll in my program. We don't really want the money. Shanice, did you turn your camera off?
I did. Give me 1 second.
All right, now you're good. I was just making sure.
I'm trying to make sure my phones, because one of my phones was ringing. I'm trying to make sure the other one don't, like mid, like I'm here. I just don't need everything going off at once.
So the next one, which one am I showing? I'm showing student loans. Here you go. No, that wasn't it, but we'll do it. I had three total, so we can cover this one. And this one's before you answer this one. I mean, this is a multi-answer question. Like as soon as I read it, I immediately popped up like 3 different answers. So we're gonna give you multiple answers for this one. There is no right or wrong answer. Like I said, it's multiple ways to do this. It just depends on your patience level and your education level. So the question, Sharnice, is how to remove collections and boost credit.
Well, and I think I said this all throughout the chat. What's your goal? Like what do you want to happen? Do you just want the deletion? If you just want the deletion, dispute it. Get all the information and then make a pause. I understand people want to get it removed or whatever. If you want to get it by yourself, do a pay to delete. Negotiate with the lender that when you make a payment that you can delete it. That'll increase your score very minimally. Hopefully, if you're doing them one at a time, you have something to offset that, like a credit card or open account, something like that. That's reporting positively. so that you can get it removed. So that's one, right? So you can do a pay to delete. You don't have to hire anybody to do that. You can do it yourself. But please don't threaten litigation. On the other hand, you can sue. You know, if your intentions is to sue, collect the information. If they've contacted you, you know, you can remember the dates of the call. You can sue more often than not. You know, most of the time when these companies are doing the phone calls and they're actually speaking with the intended consumer, they're violating you. You just don't know, right? So if that's the case, sit down with us, you know, go over the entire situation, truthful as possible, and you know, if they have a plan, whatever their plan is, follow it. $2,000 for every that's an actual violation. Okay. Then
ding ding.
The last one.
You got choppy a little bit.
I know. I'm like, I saw your hand freeze. I'm like, all right. Just follow their plan to sue, whatever, you know, whatever it is they're. So am I chopping up? It's out because I'm in the country.
Yeah, it's like we can hear you, but it's starting to get choppy. Like you were smooth at first, and then just randomly it started getting choppy.
Because I'm in the country, I'm in misery, so my signal is gonna reflect that.
I can't. I'm not allowed to talk about Missouri.
Pay to delete, sue. And, yeah, it's in the country though. I'm not in regular Missouri. I'm in a country part of Missouri. So
listen, I'm just saying, I can't talk about Missouri. We got to talk about other things.
Oh my God. Boost the store. And if you have somebody who has an age straight line, you can always piggyback. With a family or family member or a friend that's close to you. Not on anybody's account, just somebody that you actually know. That's a really good way to boost. Depending on how long their account has been open, it gives you credit age.
All right. I mean, it's a lot more than that. So like I said, when I saw this question, I had so many things pop up in my head.
It is. You want me to do a deep dive? Nah,
you good. Because that's what I wanted to contribute to. So I was hoping you didn't hit on everything. So for me, like the points that I just touched on earlier, your payment history. If your payment history is below 100%, and people don't understand this, even at 99%, that is bad. Even though we all know in school 99% is great, you still got an A. When it comes to your credit profile, 99% is bad because that means you were late once upon a time. It might not be recent, but that means you were late before. And lenders don't like to see that. And it sucks. One time will drop your score, significantly. I think the most I've ever seen a score drop is 117 points from being late one time. And it hurts. It hurts me as your coach. It hurts. I know it hurts you as seeing your score drop that much, but 117 points from being late, especially when I give you guys tactics on how to not get that late reported. Did you know, and this won't boost your score, but this will help you prevent a late. Did you guys know that you can call most creditors and most lenders and tell them you won't have the money by the due date? And they will push it out for you. You can adjust your payment due date. They will adjust the amount of time that they'll extend your grace period. It's things that lenders will do to help you to not report a late on your credit profile. But we're too scared to do these things, like picking up the phone to call Navy Fed. I will call Navy Fed in a heartbeat. Let's just say, I didn't happen to have the money. I owe my mortgage it's due tomorrow. I don't have the whole mortgage amount. I'm calling Navy Fed today to say, hey, listen, I get paid Friday. I'll have it in full Friday. Is there anything you guys can do? Obviously, you don't want to make it a repetitive thing, but when you do these things, Shanice popped in somewhere else. 1 second.
I'm here. I had to jump in on my cell phone because I don't know what's going on. This laptop, this signal out here, this country. Whew, I'm listening.
So when you do these things, calling the creditors and calling the lenders just to tell them, hey, listen, I'm going to be late this month. Is there anything we can do to push this out? I will have the money on Friday. And I promise you guys, I mean, like I said, don't make it a repetitive thing. But if you do it for the first time, they can extend it out for you. They'll give you grace periods. A lot of people probably don't know, and this has nothing to do with credit, but if you overdraft and you call the banks, that I know Navy does a one-time forgiveness. That's it. They're not going to give you more than once, but Navy Fed will actually forgive one of your overdrafts if you call them and ask them to. They're not going to give you that $35 back just because. But being a client, being a customer with them for so long, you just ask, hey, listen, I didn't have the money. I thought I was going to have the money at the time. I have the money now. Is there anything you could do? Oh, yeah, we'll forget that $35. You want to build a relationship. These are the banks. These are the creditors. These are the people that are giving us the thousands and thousands of dollars. So why not form a relationship with them? Form a positive relationship, obviously, but you can prevent a lot of these things like collections or things that can drop your credit score by simply picking up the phone and explaining your situation. Andy said, I heard that pulling your credit score makes it go down. Why is that? So we got some more technical difficulty. You're in here twice, Shanice. I'm not sure if it's going to echo you. So Andy's question is, heard that pulling your credit score makes your score go down. Why is that? You with us, Shanice, or is she still bopping out? Yeah, she's bopping out. All right. So what that is inquiries. When you keep pulling your credit score, obviously you get a bunch of inquiries at it. The more inquiries you have, the more riskier you look to lenders. What they like to see is that, one, you use your credit responsibly, so you keep your utilization down. Your payment history is top tier. You always pay your debts on time, and you're not always asking for money. The more inquiries you have on your credit profile, the more riskier you look. It looks like, oh, he went and asked Navy Fed for $10,000. Oh, he went and asked Wells Fargo for $10,000. Oh, he asked Bank of America for $10,000. Oh, he asked Chase for $10,000. When you get to me, if I'm John Doe's banking company, I see that you already asked 17 different lenders for a credit card, $10,000, and they all said no. Before I even go to check your data points, I'm already looking like, well, listen, if all 17 of them said no, why should I say yes? I mean, unless I have lower standards, obviously, when you get to those lower tier banks and those lower tier lenders, they typically have higher interest rates, sky high. They max you out at the maximum limit, which is usually 29.99%, 24.99 or 29.99. It all depends. But who wants to have a 30% interest rate? Every $100 lent out, you owe them an additional $30. Who wants that? Especially when you're pushing out $10,000. So I give you $10,000 loan. Before we even sign the contract, you already owe me $3,000. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So that's what they mean by that, Andy. It's not necessarily just pulling your credit score. Like if you're conservative, I say no more than 2 inquiries every 6 months. And within those 2 inquiries, you need to check your data points, check the banking requirements or the credit card requirements to make sure you hit those requirements to ensure that every inquiry always results in an approval of whatever you're trying to get. If I know that American Express will not allow me to get a credit card with them with any late payments on my credit report, I will never apply for an American Express until I get all my late payments removed, because that's going to add an inquiry that resulted in a decline, which is just an added inquiry. Now I got to go try to apply with Chase because Chase might give me a card. Now that's 2 inquiries. Whether or not Chase gave me the card or not, I now have 2 inquiries and only 1 credit card. You don't want that. You want every single inquiry to result in an additional line of credit card, installment loan, just pretty much anytime you inquire for something, you want to make sure you get approved. You know, you can take sometimes maybe with like if you have the PG, but even still, you want to make sure you meet the requirements on the business side. It's all about understanding credit, understanding your credit profile, and then making sure that whatever your credit profile looks like matches the requirements of what they have. If you don't know how to find the requirements, guess what you can do? Like I've been saying, pick up the phone and ask them. They have specialists at every single lending company that can explain to you what their minimum requirements are. Hey, listen, hey, Navy Fed, I wanted to apply for a flagship card. What are your credit limit requirements? And even if they don't give you the specifics, they should know the about range. You know, you should be about a 620. You shouldn't have any late payments. You shouldn't have any derogatories. They can give you enough information for you to formulate that type of credit profile if you don't already have one, and then you can go apply. Don't just be applying blindly, because that results in multiple inquiries, which results in more declines. You start to look desperate. You know, the way I break it down to my students is, let's take the banks out of the equation. Let's put human to human experiences together, right? If Sharnice asked me for $100, right? And then I go ask all of Sharnice's friends, and 15 of her friends say, oh, Sharnice asked me for $100 too. But none of those 15 people gave her $100. Why the hell would I give her $100?
I'm irresponsible.
Right? It's like that's how I want y'all to look at it. I want y'all to take the smaller numbers and think of your brother or your sister or your friend. Actually, don't even use family, because the banks, we're strangers to the banks. I want you to use a random stranger. If a random stranger came to you and said, hey, can I get $50? And you're like, yo, let me holler at some of your people, and all of them are like, nah, I ain't giving $50. I ain't giving $50. Well, why the hell didn't y'all give him $50? Oh, because he still owes John Doe $25 from last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and owing John Doe, that will be equivalent of a derogatory mark or collection. If you're not responsible enough to pay them back, how can I trust that you won't pay me back? I can't automatically. Before I even give you anything, I already don't trust you. You didn't pay John Doe back, you didn't pay Mary Doe back, you didn't pay Jill. So understanding your credit is super important. I like to break it down to the street level, where it's like, yo, listen, this is what you have to understand, because it is a lot. Let me check the comments real quick if we have any facts. I'm really upset that we're not seeing the comments here. I'm getting Twitch. I got people commenting from Twitch that are popping up in the live, but none of the Facebook ones are popping up. So maybe it's whatever platform comments first, and that's what we get. Because I know last week we were getting a bunch of Facebooks.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 weeks ago, it was a bunch of Instagram. So I guess it's may the best platform wins when we go live. Yo, comment first, and we I don't know at this point, man. Look, we've been trying to find it, trying to figure it out, and we can't. Miss Elena is our technician, so hopefully she can fix it for us one day. All right, I'm trying to think. So let's get to the last question. What did we cover already? Remove collections, boost your score.
Yeah. The student loans.
Oh, and then this is the third one. That's pretty much close to the exact same one. I need to boost my score fast. Yeah, that's pretty much the same question. So we kind of already covered that one. How can I boost my score? Just multiple things. I just named just some quick things just to boost your score. Actually, let's pause on this question. If anybody has this specific question, I'm going to pause you anyway. Because the first thing I need you to understand is credit and fast, they don't go together.
Mm-hmm.
They don't live together. They don't associate. They're not roommates. Credit scores go up and down slowly. It takes a month before we see any changes anyway. So there is no fast. If fast to you is 1 month, then okay, you can say fast. But even still, we can't guarantee results. We can't guarantee deletions. We can't guarantee score increases or decreases. We can't guarantee any of that stuff. So before we even give an answer to a question like this, I tell you all these things. Like, listen, There isn't a fast way. I can give you all the tips and strategies and all that stuff, and it still might not work. So it's more so about your understanding that, listen, everything that I'm going to give you, it can work. It has the possibility to work. It has worked for other people before, but it doesn't mean it's going to work for you, and it doesn't mean it's going to work as fast as it did for them as it will for you. It's more so about just the timing of things, the credit bureau's response times, the debt collector's response times. All of those things factor in. Hell, even if you get added as an authorized user, sometimes that doesn't show up for 60 days. So that's not fast, So before we even give answers to this, just understand that it's nothing in the credit repair world is fast. It all takes time to go up or down. A few things that you can do. If you guys have credit cards, and I know you are tired of hearing us say this, if you have credit cards, pay them off, pay them down. A lot of times you guys have 2, 3, 4 credit cards and they're all maxed out. Oh, I don't have any derogatory marks, but my credit score is at, 580 because your credit cards are maxed out. Your utilization is at 98%. That is terrible. Lenders don't want to see that, because now you're saying they gave you $10,000 and you spent the whole $10,000 and now you're slowly repaying it. They're not going to lend you out any more money until that money has been paid back. Other lenders can see that you still owe John Doe $10,000, and until you pay John Doe back, they're not going to extend you lines of credit. So one step to boosting your credit score fast would be pay down those credit cards. I know everybody hears Credit Karma 30%. Listen, pay them down below 10%. Stop. Let's all get that 30% out of our mind. 30% stops you from losing score, but 10% is what increases the score. Below 10%. If you quote me, below 10%. If you're at 22%, you're safe. You're kind of borderline, but there is a significant score difference between having a 24% utilization and just a 4% utilization. So, you definitely want to be on the lower end. If you can cut those cards down below 10%, you'll see a score increase. You should see a score increase. I don't want y'all to take a clip of this and be like, KP, I paid my cards down, my score didn't move. So you should see a score increase when you lower utilization. Another thing is your payment history. If you notice that you have any late payments that are reported inaccurate, or if you can't find it, I'm in a situation. I won't give the full story until it's done, but I'm in a situation where I have a late payment that's being reported. I have never in my life, and I tell everybody, I've never in my life been late on any of my cards ever. I actually had to call the credit bureaus, and they can't even locate the late payment that they're reporting. So it's like, if you see an inaccuracy, you need to take care of it. That can help boost your score, because if your payment history is not 100%, like I said, it's hurting. So that's one thing you can use. If you have derogatory marks, you need to go look over your credit profile, and you can dispute those remarks to get them removed. That'll help your score. If you don't have a lengthy account history, so like if you only have 1 or 2 credit cards, you can go get installment accounts, secured, sorry, not installment. Well, you can do revolving or installment, but secured accounts. You don't get the increase, so it doesn't hurt you on the increase side, but you do get the account. So for anybody that doesn't know, a secured account is an account given to you by a lender using your money as collateral. Example would be, if I did a $500 credit card, a secure credit card, I have to give my bank $500 in exchange for a $500 secured credit card. They hold that money anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, depending on, your payment history or whatever. And then they'll graduate it. When they graduate it becomes an unsecured credit card, and I get the initial $500 deposit back. Same thing with installment loans. The secured loan, most banks don't offer this. I know Navy does. It's called a pledge loan, and I got TikToks about it. But you put X amount of money in your savings account. Navy will put that money on hold in exchange to give you an installment loan of the same amount. Most people ask, why would I do that? They're just giving me my money. Honestly, the only benefit of a secured installment loan is forward to report on your credit profile, because inevitably you're paying Navy a small interest rate on your own money anyway, but it's being reported as an installment loan on your credit profile, which helps your credit profile. You add another account, you add an installment loan, which is different from the revolving. You don't want to just have only credit cards, so that helps you out. And it actually teaches you, or it can prep you to make on-time payments. Yes, it's your own money, but if you have to pay Navy $25 a month on your $500 loan, you're practicing paying on time. It keeps your payment history at 100%, because okay, the 21st of every month I gotta pay that. I gotta pay $25. There are different ways to get around it, not necessarily get around it, but kind of finesse. Obviously put the money on auto pay and do things like that. Don't spend it or whatever, but you have to teach yourself how to change your mindset, to get into that mindset of paying on time all the time. Obviously with the pledge loan tactic, it's just like the credit cards. Once you pay the loan back, they're going to give you the money back. So it's literally like you're just cycling the money minus the interest. And Navy's really good with the interest rates. I mean, you're probably going to be under like 5% on a pledge loan.
So
go ahead.
Let me interject. With the pledge loan, you get your money back right away. So the purpose, if you have Navy Federal, and if you qualify for them, for real qualify for them, you get the pledge loan essentially, and this is for people who have bad credit. You would use it basically to build a relationship with them to get the credit cards, because everybody doesn't come right in the gate and get the credit cards. You know what I mean? Some people get their Navy Federal accounts and their credit is just jacked. You know what I mean? So they get the pledge loan. It's no inquiry. You build that relationship with them. Close the account in positive standing, obviously, after it's done, and then go apply for the cards. And then you have, then you get the benefits of the high limit credit cards and stuff like that. So, but you get your money right away. Like as soon as you sign your documents, they release the money right back to you. Every bank does not do that. Navy Federal specifically, that I know of for sure, is about the only one that does. I'm pretty sure there are others, but most of the ones that I've looked into, and this was like a couple years ago, but still, they hold the money, which, I'm fine with, but, Navy just give it right back.
Let me see if we got any comments. Oh, we got another one. Is it best to pay the credit card down in full or in portions? In full, 0. Reason being is you don't want to pay interest. Why pay interest? That's really the main benefit of it. You obviously, when you're spending and paying it back, you don't have to worry about ever paying late because you've already paid it. Interest rates, if you have a higher interest rated credit card, paying it back avoids those interest rates. And that's one thing I teach when I tell people, don't worry about the interest rate on those credit cards. Obviously, we want lower interest rates, but if you are using your credit cards the correct way, you never have to worry about an interest rate, period. The main benefit to me, obviously everybody's gonna have their own opinion, but the main benefit to me on interest rates is anything that's over 0, you're gonna spend it and pay it right back. The only time I will leave a balance on a credit card is if my interest rate is 0. That's it. And typically, we're liquidating with those cards, taking the money and investing it to pay it all back. But anything over a 0%, you're paying the banks, and the banks want that. So what we do, and I won't say to trick the banks, but what we do to get the banks to give us more of a credit limit is we're going to spend and pay it all back immediately. So now the banks will say, man, this guy got a $5,000 credit card, but he spent $15,000 on the credit card. However, we didn't make a dime off of that. So when you do that in repetition, now they're going to say, okay, well, he's getting over on whatever he's doing. Let us give him $10,000 in the hopes that they're going to get me to leave a balance on there, right? Mm-hmm. So I won't necessarily say I tricked the banks, but what I did was I got a credit limit increase just by spending normally. That's one of the tactics you guys can use. So
I think the problem for a lot of people is people don't know how to use the credit cards. Everybody's like, oh well, I get paid and my check is only, put your whole check on your credit card, the whole check, and use your credit card for everything. If you have a rewards card, let it give you the points for purchases that you're going to make anyway. Stop spending cash on everything. You have your credit card literally protects you in so many ways. If you sat down and you actually looked at the benefits of using a credit card, you have so many more benefits as opposed to using a debit card. I cut my debit card up. The only reason cash exists for me is simply to pay down, pay off my credit cards. If I get a check, I close on a client, I close the deal from whatever it is, I'm literally taking all of that money and paying off my credit cards, every single week or every other week or whatever it is. But people have a fear of if I put it on my card, then I won't be able to access it. Who told y'all that? Like, use your credit card for everything: gas, food, restaurant, you go on a date, you need clothes, whatever it is. Use your credit card for all of that stuff.
When the banks ask me, every time I get a new bank account, whether it's business or personal, I swear, no lie, when they ask you, do you want a checking? Do you want a debit card? I say no.
Exactly.
And a lot of people are like, yo, why'd you say no? Because I'm gonna get a credit card with them. This checking account is not to spend money. It's to pay.
1 second, Casey. I'll be right back.
Okay. You guys want to understand, this helps your credit score as well. This helps boost your credit because you're going to get higher limit credit cards with lower utilization. Your checking account is not for spending money. It is for paying back the money that you spent on your credit card. That's it. That's 100% the value of that checking account. If you have a $500, and obviously spend responsibly. So I do not spend more than I have in that checking account. I have the way that Natasha set me up is I have a spending account. I got to account for bills and account for business expenses and taxes and all these things. But my personal spending account is the money that I pay myself that I'm able to spend. So when I notice that thing goes under like $1,500, it's like, okay, well, I know I can't spend $1,000 on my credit card because I'm going to be pulling from that. I will never spend more than I have in that account because now I'm going to accrue interest. Now I'm putting myself in bad debt. There's a difference between good debt and bad debt. And I don't want that. I don't ever want to have a credit card with a balance on it. Unless it's one of the 0%, like I told y'all about. It's all about your mindset and all about understanding it. But when I'm just spending money, oh, it's Marley, y'all, look, hey. When I'm just spending money, I don't want to just be spending it. The younger version of me was, and I'm sure this has happened to a lot of people. May not be everybody, but a lot of us go through this. But we don't understand credit. You get the credit card, you're like, oh, I got $1,000 balance. Let me buy some candy. Let me buy some gas. Let me go to the movies. Let me do this. I get paid Friday. I put half on it Friday, and then I just keep making payments on it. And then, long story short, that credit card is now maxed out. And the mindset that we have is I'm not paying that card back, I'm not paying it back in full. I want to continue to live life. I want to keep going to the beach or keep going to the movies or keep traveling. So you got a maxed out credit card. You're making minimum payments on it with interest that are probably sky high. Mm-hmm. And you're sacrificing because you're now spending that checking money while still owing the money that you already spent. You're killing yourself. Yeah, my personal saying, man, get debt free with KP. You cannot get debt free if you don't do the things to get out of debt. Like,
right.
You're continuing to stay in debt and making it okay. Like, I made the minimum payment on that car. We good. That is never good. Never. I don't care.
That's just to avoid the late payment. Like, the interest is still going to eat you up at the end of the day. I'd rather pay no interest ever, which is why, if I max out my card, which I tend to do, I'm paying it back off by the end of the week. And I know some people are like, oh, well, I don't get paid every week, because I had a friend that told me that, just recently. I'm like, take your whole check, put it on the card, then use the card regularly and keep on doing that. I said it's going to take you a couple paychecks, to where you're not going to accrue any interest. But I'm like, just change the way that you spend. And she was like, okay, well, I need a plan. I'm like, that was the plan. But it's a mindset shift that people have to get around when it comes to using credit cards, because you can use it for everything. Even if you have rent, depending on the card that you have, you can do cash advances, to do that. And if you have rewards on that one, you can use the rewards to pay back off whatever the transfer fee is, or the advance fee.
Right. That's the beauty of it. We got like a 2 more months before. No, Christmas is 3 months. October, November, December. About 3 more months. This prime time, baby. Y'all already know Black Friday is coming. We're all going to be spending money, getting our Christmas gifts, family gifts, and things like that. If all year, like me, and I'm definitely going to make a TikTok about it, y'all will see it. If all year you've been spending your credit cards for everyday purchases, this is where me and Jasmine love this. We haven't, for like the last 2 years, we haven't come out of pocket for Christmas. The reason being is because we spend credit for everything and pay it back, we're rewarded around Christmas time. I can give my wife a gift. We have 6 children, get all 6 of them gifts, my siblings. I can buy as many gifts as I want using the cash back rewards or using the points from all of my credit cards. Imagine that. Imagine spending $2,500 or more. I don't know what you guys are spending around Christmas time, but without having to actually dig into your checking account, without having to swipe a credit card. It's all been paid for because you have practiced good spending habits throughout the entire year, and this is how you're rewarded. That's how Santa reward me. Santa reward me by I tell the kids, I tell Kaya specifically, I say, Santa did all this. You know what I'm saying? Daddy ain't spent no money. I didn't have to spend any money because the credit cards bought all these things for you guys. Buying iPads and iWatches and VRs and all the things. They like Splatoon and all these crazy kids. The kids, they evolved. These toys are different. These toys are different.
I was done when my kids wanted hoverboards. They didn't want anything cheap. They wanted extravagant hoverboards. I was like, this is too much. We didn't have toys like this when I was
the little wheels, the wheels be glowing. Look, I got a funny story. It's off topic, but so my oldest niece had one of the hoverboards. It's like 10 years ago. I put one foot on it, put the other foot, that jump shot out. I'm talking about, I went in slow motion. My whole life was just like, that song that's in most Mafia jumps, they be like, who can say tomorrow? Baby. Like, listen. I'm talking about, I was airborne for like 50 seconds. Like, this is it. I'm about to meet Jesus. As soon as I hit this ground, everything gonna break. Boom. So you got people laughing in the comments now.
a mess.
But yeah, I don't mess with them, man. I do not mess with them. And I used to ride ATVs and dirt bikes all the time. That's the safety of my hands. I was in control of those things, right? When it's just your legs, you ain't got no hand. It's just you put your foot on, and then my nieces and nephews, man, they be zooming around the house, racing, and I'm like, how do y'all do that? I put my foot on it, and that jump was like, bye. Let's kill KP day. We zoom.
Oh my God. A mess.
Yeah, bro, I got messed up. Let me see. Let me get back. Let me check. I'm checking the chats. But that was all our 3 questions. So to build more structure, because like y'all all see, we're growing with you guys as we do these podcasts. We now have topics. So every Wednesday we'll have at least 2 topics. If it takes 3, we'll get 3. We're looking to do guest hosts. We haven't really set up a schedule, but we're working on that. The automations, like I said before, if anybody, and y'all might have been jumping in and out. If you guys have been texting mentorship to the number below, I did end up putting a temporary automation, but the automation just lets you guys know that the mentorship's not ready yet, and we'll text you when it's ready.
Well, I mean, at least just something.
I was like, I gotta think of something because I ain't gonna keep every 10 minutes telling people it's not ready, it's not ready. It's not ready, guys. Just wait. I wonder if we got anybody in there. Let me check the history. Oh, it's 2 people in there.
Is it?
It's 2 people in there. 2 people have texted without knowing. So we appreciate it though. Listen, 2 people were curious about the mentorship. So that's huge. But those 2 people, I'm sure you guys got the text, and don't laugh. We weren't ready. We just wanted to put it there so you guys can see it and things like that. All right. Let's talk about one more thing. So this is a non-credit. Well, no, it's credit related. I guess it's more of an entrepreneur on the more of an entrepreneurial side. Because we were talking about this either this morning or yesterday. I think it was yesterday. We talked so much. The trio. The shit gets blended in at this point. This is for Elena and for Shanice, because as y'all can see, she's momming right now. Elena moms every morning. You know, I be harassing her to come help us, and she was like, "I'm taking the kids to school," and you know, how let's talk about what is it called? Mompreneurs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, me as a dad, as a husband, I don't experience the things that moms do. You know, obviously Jazz is the mom. She does the mom thing. Look, y'all laughing. What type of advice would you ladies have for mompreneurs? Like, I guess we could let Elena answer it because you know
I haven't spoken.
Talk too much. But what type of advice would you give a mompreneur, you know, with kids? Let's use your example. A wife and a mother of 2. What type of advice would you give her to keep pushing? You know, like motivation or consistency or any of those things that moms typically need help with when they're in the entrepreneur world.
Well, I would say that you need to first prioritize, and then you need to organize your time, because in my case, I know what I have to do in the morning, and I can't work before 9. So I know exactly what I need to do. You need to schedule time for work, time for the house, time for the husband, for the kids. So sometimes, of course, you won't have the time to do many things. So you will have to work during the night, or maybe you have to wake up earlier. So it depends on your own your own how do you say? I forgot the word.
Your own life?
It depends on your own life. So schedule that, because sometimes, in my case, I know that I have to do the laundry, to do other things for the house that they need to be done. And you know, sometimes you need to know the times when you are going to do that. Sometimes you need to multitask. Sometimes you see me doing other things while I am doing another one. So it depends, but never stop. Like never stop pushing. That's my advice.
Good. And before we let before you answer,
oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you. And that is why that's why you need automations, because in my case, of course, I need to tell. In my case, if I didn't have automations, I would have more work to do. So sometimes I see that people are buying my products while I am sleeping or doing other things, and that's good because I don't really need to do anything.
I was getting ready to say that.
So,
like, I'm glad you cut me off.
If you're a mom and you're a mompreneur, you need automations. Living at home.
The reason that's huge, like you said, I was getting ready to say automations, is because, like she said, you have to multitask. If you're trying to be a wife, trying to be a mom, trying to run a business, all 3 of those things are very time consuming individually. So for a woman to try to do all 3 every single day, you don't ever get days off from being a wife. You never get days off from being a mom. Until your business is fully automated and fully functioning and fully running on its own, you'll never get days off from running a business. So the automations is definitely one huge step to getting those things done. What I was going to add to that about the Shanice thing is excuses. and not, this isn't just toward ladies, this is toward everyone. You got to cut the excuses. You can't, shouldn't be in your vocabulary. You know, I don't know how, that's fine. Go find out how. You know, I don't know just means you need to go figure it out. Go ask someone that you think knows. Go ask a group of people that you know knows. Go ask a specialist. Go, you know, find a mentor. Mentorship. But the excuses have to stop. You know, there is no I can't. And the reason I say this, and Elena will tell you, me and Elena have been going crazy. Well, all three of us have been going crazy. But Sharnice did a lot of work, a lot of fucking work. Sorry to curse. While she was pregnant, and being a mom, and being a wife, and running her business.
The same day that she gave birth, she was working with us.
What? She gave birth, and I'm like, AJ letting you do this? Like, why is AJ take her phone, bro? Like, but
the nurses tried to take my laptop.
And Sharnice was in the middle of the you know, like giving birth. She was with the computer here, and she was pushing like. That's how I imagine.
Workaholic, y'all. That's don't do that. Like, time. My God, like looking back, that was crazy.
The point I'm getting at is excuses gotta die. I don't say I can't anymore. What I say is, Sharnice, can you help me? Elena, can you help me? If my partners can't help me out, we'll go find somebody third party. Like all three of us, if the trio can't do it, we're going to collectively find somebody. You know, we're going to vet them. Hey, yo, listen, I'm about to go do this with this person. They know about the business moves I make outside of the Elevation Academy, because if either one of them give me a red flag, I'm not doing business with you. If my partners can't trust you, or if you burned any bridges that I have, I don't want to give you my money, you know, and it's unfortunate to be like that, but that's the type of team we are. That's the type of person that I am. It's like, yo, listen, you done ran off on my partner. Why would I give you my money? What's stopping you from running off on me? It's a trust thing. It's like derogatory accounts. Listen, you owe Elena got you in collections. I ain't partnering up with you. But you know, excuses, man. We gotta cut them. You know, I done spoken to hundreds at this point, and that's like a real mind-blowing thing to say. I've really spoken to hundreds of entrepreneurs at this point, and I look forward to saying thousands in the future, but I've spoken to hundreds of you all, and a lot of times I hear excuses. I don't directly tell you that it's an excuse, but I don't have time. Why don't you have automations to make time? You know, I don't know how. Why don't you buy a book or a course to teach you? You know, I can't. Yes, you can. You just don't want to. Like, there is a solution to every problem. I don't care what the problem is. I promise you, there is a solution to every problem that has ever been a problem in the world, in the history of life, but whatever. So saying I can't, saying I don't know, saying I don't have time, saying all these different excuses, it's just excuses to me. You know, and ladies specifically, when I hear women say, man, I'm being a mom and I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. My partners are moms. Nothing you're going to tell me I haven't seen them do. Like when I tell you, Elena, every morning, I harass her every morning. Elena, help me with the automations. And Elena will really get on the live. I see the kids in the background. She's taking them to school, helping me. You know, she doesn't have to, obviously. I'd be joking a lot, but the fact that she's able to still do that lets me know that it is possible to do that. It's just your mindset. Do you want this to work? Because if you want it to work, you're going to make it work. Excuses won't make anything work. And that's just the facts. If you make excuses, you don't want it to work. That's how I look at it. When you give yourself doubt, when you create the negativity yourself, the result is going to be negative. So, you know, cancel all of that, get rid of it, be positive. It's going to work. Or it's gonna work. That's my only two options. I mean, you see the shirt. I'm gonna try to start representing these little cool little shirts every Wednesday, since that's like a thing. But yeah, I can't be these things with excuses. You know, Jasmine wouldn't love me if I made excuses for everything. You know, my kids wouldn't feel protected if I made excuses. Oh, we can't go kayaking because I don't know how to swim. I do know how to swim, but that was just an excuse. But it's like things like that. How do I expect anyone to look at me as a hero when I don't go to try to find a solution to their problem? You know, how do I expect my children to feel like I protect them when I don't help them when they're hurt or go out and fix things when they break or, you know, do the things that I do? I make excuses. Oh, I don't got the money to fix that. You know, there's YouTube. Go fix it with your hands, bro. Like, cut the excuses, y'all. Gotta cut the excuses. There is no excuses. Even financially, a lot of people use finances as excuses, and that's the one that I hate the most because I was down there, bro. People know the stuff, but it's like finances are only an excuse because you made them that way. You chose to go out every weekend. You chose to max out your credit cards. You chose to spend and not save or not invest, you know?
All right. So would you say the life that you have right now is what you consider a desirable life? Or this is what you conceive as the perfect life for you? You know, because you chose everything. You chose the job. You chose, you know, all the decisions that you made. Like, does your life reflect, you know, where you want to be overall? Like, is this the perfect and the most ideal situation that you're in presently? You know, as opposed to where you want to be. Everybody wants to be somewhere, you know, more in the future. But have the decisions that you've made in the past, you know, led you to a desirable life or lifestyle presently? That's what I always think when people say that. Like, we're in control of all of that. Our partners, exactly. Our jobs, 100%. Our car, our house. Not the kids. You can't pick them or the personality.
and the thing with that, what you just said was, if the answer is no, you're responsible for changing it. You know, excuses are just excuses. I will never in my life blame somebody else for anything negative that happens to me. Oh, somebody T-boned my car. He shouldn't have ran that red light. You know, that's an accident. Accidents happen. You can't really use accident as excuses. But if I blow a red light and I blow up my car, what am I gonna say? Oh, he shouldn't have been there. I ran the red light. You know what I'm saying? If I max out my credit cards and now my one of my friends has an opportunity that costs $50,000, but I can't get a loan from my banks because I chose to max out my credit cards, I made that decision. You know, if in fact I made a post the other day, taking $50K from a bank, $50K loan from a bank, and turned it into a paid off vehicle. That's an asset. Owning a business that is a 6-figure business and having 20 plus employees. That was a decision that I made. You know, my mindset could have been take $50,000 and go to Vegas and travel the world and just pay it back later. But instead, I decided to take the money and invest it into things that were going to make money until I owned those things, paid that loan back, and now I'm making money from the bank's money. Because everybody doesn't have access to $100,000. You know, I remember when $10,000 used to seem unachievable to me. Now $10,000 makes me upset. You know, and I'm not, you know, we ain't talking rich or poor, but it's like the mindset change. It's like putting myself in a different environment. I used to be with the people that used to rob and steal and want to do fraud. Now I'm with the people that make millions of dollars in a week. Now I'm with people that mindset is say, yo, KP, let me show you how to turn 10K into 100K in 6 months. You know, because nothing happens fast. You ain't getting rich overnight. I hate those get rich overnight schemes. When I look at investments, I'm looking for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. If I give you $50,000, what is it going to look like in 5 years? $1 million? Cool. That's a good investment to me. I mean, it takes 5 years, but hell, it turned from 50 to $1 million. So It's all about your mindset. You guys are in control of your life. You know, they say Jesus take the wheel because they want to make an excuse. That's how I look at it. I don't ask Jesus to take my will because I need to drive where I'm going. Y'all remember my Tesla story? I don't let nobody take my will now. And Natasha said, "Yep, it happens." And then the interest starts eating up your payments. Yeah, I missed that one. So Natasha went back to the interest rate when you max out your credit cards. The interest rate starts eating up your payments. With certain credit cards, if your interest rate is too high, your interest rate eventually will become more than what your minimum due amount is. You just created an infinity loop of debt that you will never get out of because what you're paying the banks is not more than what the banks are charging you. You know, you got a $20,000 credit card and your minimum due is $219, but the interest that the bank is charging you is $300. Yeah, you're making on-time payments, but every month you're adding $90 or $80 of debt every month. And now you wonder, why does my bill keep getting higher? I'm not even using this credit card because you're not paying back more than what you're being charged. And you're never going to get out of debt. Now that card's maxed out. You can't afford it. You owe more than what the limit is. You let it hit collections. Profile goes to shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it happens. That is always how it happens. So, oh man, we've been going crazy. Look, we started out with 30-minute segments, then it started pushing to an hour. We close to an hour and a half now. Let's talk about the mompreneur thing, and then we can close out. I don't want to.
My advice: sleep as much as you can, but you have to come up with a strategy. Like, we're mid podcast, and Marley, you know, everybody in my household, because they are night owls, like I am. I'm the only one who I'm a night owl, but I wake up early. So she's sitting in there, you know. Oh, she wants to talk. You know, she's making some noise. I'm like, let me get her, you know, but create a schedule. Like, I didn't stop or pause. Now you want to talk. You just loud now. Okay. So, you know, this is the unexpected. This is a part of that. Like, you know, you can create the schedule, but these things will, you know, occur. You just, you know, can I very quickly, I'm talking to the people, Marley. Oh yeah. And Andrew, now AJ's up. Hello, Andrew. Give me 1 second. But no, these things, like, this is the unexpected. Like, this is I don't think nobody bothers me typically. I'm like, this is my hour. This is my chunk of the morning. Don't bother me till 12, you know, which everybody typically does sometimes. But create a schedule and then have some flexibility, and don't be hard on yourself. Don't get overwhelmed, you know, just breathe and keep going. Like, my advice is literally create a schedule, try to stick to it, but expect for these things to happen. Like, I didn't expect Marley to pop up today or be loud, you know, but these things happen, you know. Just be easy on yourself, but still be strict on yourself as well.
There you go. See?
And also, I want to add to that you have to be yourself. You don't have to be afraid of showing that you are a mom, because many people are like, many moms think that they can't show their own lives, and that's part of who you are and your path. So you can show, you will understand who your target audience is. If you show yourself as you are, you will get the clients, because they will know you better, you know. They will go to you because they know that you are a
Feel more
mom.
comfortable and trust you, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Listen, ladies, that's mompreneurship is great and tiring at all stages. Exactly. Sorry, I thought I authorized it, Shyla. Oh, yeah, I saw you. I looked in the group. I saw you commented in the group. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you have to authorize it every single time. I'm pretty sure once you sign up one time, it should just keep your account, right?
Yeah, it should.
Either way,
well, mine did.
As usual, we appreciate everybody that stopped by. We love the questions. If you guys have questions during any of our lives, feel free to ask them. I'm gonna have to apologize every live because we won't get to all the comments. Like I didn't even check my Instagram, and I'm sorry for anybody that was on Instagram that was commenting. We got to the Twitch. I checked a couple of the Facebook groups and things like that. So we're still working on that. Always technical difficulties. We'll probably just have like a technical difficulties like notification that pops up or something. But we are always working to improve. You know, we're not going to make excuses. We're going to fix it or figure out some type of workaround. So that's it for us. Next Wednesday, we'll have different topics and we'll just keep it going. If you guys have any specific topics that you would like for us to cover, feel free to DM any one of us and we will feature it on one of the shows. So that is it from the Elevation Academy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.